as a child, I remember somehow becoming the kid who would do just about anything to make people happy, make the people around me feel better. I was also the person who at some point really enjoyed helping people. Eventually my superpower became helping people. Um, in my adult years, I converted helping people into an income stream. I converted trying to get people outcomes into an income stream. I became very good at helping people, helping them to obtain clarity, helping them to experience freedom of the mind so that they can execute on the things that were trying to hold them back. It's a good thing, right? Not so much. There was a problem. Welcome to the Reflections Podcast, where we replay our wins and losses so that you can build more winning seasons. My name is Antoine, and in today's podcast, we're talking about the plight of the people pleaser, Lego. So it's been said that there's a time and a place for everything. But is there a time and a place for people pleasing? In a previous episode, I talked about the power of saying no. If you haven't checked out that episode, I would definitely go check it out. I recommend it, not just because I created it, but because it may help you if you have struggles saying no. But as we pursue our winning seasons, we have to continually rehearse and practice the things that will make us better. Becoming better starts with doing better for ourselves. Now, for a lot of you, doing better for yourself may be easy. For some of us that have lived the life of the people pleaser, this isn't as easy as it may be for you. Uh, People become people pleasers in a lot of different ways. In this episode, I want to talk about a few of those ways, some that I've experienced personally. So as I researched and tried to understand more about the people pleaser, I saw some stuff that matched who I was. For some of you, you may have experienced being the people pleaser. Others, you may not know if you are a people pleaser. But I can tell you from firsthand experience and after a lot of research trying to identify who I am in this season of my life, I realized that a lot of the people pleasing thoughts and the programming and the agreements that I've experienced in my life were people pleasing mentalities. Just to be honest and very transparent, um, there was a time in my life where I was married. And the marriage ended for several different reasons. But one of the reasons that I look back on is the fact that I lived a life of people pleasing for so long that in the marriage, I chose to try to please my wife by the happy life or happy wife, happy life scenario, which I've later learned is not really what that is. But then also, I had to balance out trying to make a wife happy and be a people pleaser for her, but being a people pleaser outside of the house. So sometimes there were times where there were two competing things. There was the inside of the house, then there was also the outside of the house. But in the center was me trying to please both sides. Sometimes there were things that were in the house that needed to be done that opposed the things that needed to be done outside of the home. Of course, when you get that, you have this torn moment where you're supposed to take care of the home, but now because you're a people pleaser, you feel out of place because you can't be everything to everybody. You can't be in every place at every time. You have to make some decisions. Sometimes as a people pleaser, you want to come to a common ground that works for everybody because you want people to be happy. But unfortunately, making everyone happy is unrealistic. So as I get to share today, I want you to see if any of these things that I share make sense to you, make sense to who you've been as a people pleaser. Now, if you're not the people pleaser, you can still watch this episode so that you can understand when you're interacting with a people pleaser to recognize the signs that this person is doing this because they want to make me happy, even if they are unhappy. Most people pleasers live lives of unhappiness because they're making other people happy. Now, there is a balance. Sometimes making other people happy makes the people pleaser happy, but there still is a challenge. So let's get your notes out, get ready to explore some of these things that I want to share. Here's my thing for you that are watching the audio, not watching the audio. For you that are listening to the audio, make sure you take some notes. Make sure you lock it in. For you that are watching the video, I like spinning in my chair. Um, so don't be bothered by that. But let go. Let's get to these points. So here are some of the reasons that people pleasers become people pleasers. The first reason is fear and anxiety. The next reason is past experiences. The next reason is perfectionism. Next is low self esteem. Next is emotional dependency. So there are more than these. There's a lot of variations, but we're going to lock into these five: fear and anxiety, past experiences, perfectionism, low self esteem, and emotional dependency. Have you found yourself, even before I break these down, have you found yourself locking into this and saying yes to people when you wanted to say no because of fear and anxiety, past experience, perfectionism, low self esteem, or emotional dependency? You got to ask yourself those questions. So, fear and anxiety. People may worry about being rejected and unliked, or they're fighting for their desire to be okay. Other people's needs drive them because they fear if they don't do what the other people say, they may not be liked. There's some type of fear. There may also be a fear of failure, thinking that disappointing others will lead to negative consequences. Let me try to break this down real quick. Some people pleasers feel like if they don't do what other people want them to do, there will be a price to pay. Some people pleasers feel that they have to do it so that they can escape what might happen. It's fear. For me, I, as a kid, feared being talked about. So I became a people pleaser to make people love me enough so that they wouldn't be mad at me, so that they wouldn't get upset, so they wouldn't be bothered, so they wouldn't focus on the shortcomings that I had. I was fearful. I was anxious when I would deal with people because I'm like, I just need to give them what they want and everything will be okay. Fear and anxiety. Past experiences. A lot of people pleasers have been abused or deal with certain traumas that make them try to please others. They want to avoid triggering people's abusive behaviors. They want to feel safe and secure. So the past experiences, people will sometimes say yes because they knew the last time that they said no, there was a repercussion. So it's still the fear, but sometimes it's a fear that the past will repeat itself. Being a people pleaser in general is based in a lot of trauma. It's based in some things that you didn't understand, and to uh, keep people connected to you, to not make them upset, to not have them frustrated, you just did what they asked, even if you didn't want to do it yourself. Let's go. The next one is such a major one. I hope that let me make sure my stuff is still recording. Yeah. The next one is pretty major. Perfectionism. People pleasers may have a strong desire to control how others perceive them and may want everything to be just right. I know this has been true for me. I have friends that I've talked to where the perfectionist in them has been built out of a thing where everything has to be right. There's this nervousness of, if things aren't right, how will people see me? What will they think? What will they say? What will happen behind closed doors? I have to look this way. I have to feel this way. I have to do this. Being a perfectionist for a lot of people is not doing everything perfectly as much as it's doing stuff so well that people like it and they don't see the flaws. I was talking to a friend recently where we were talking about how we find ourselves procrastinating, not because we can't accomplish the task, but it's a procrastination because it can't be perfect. So because I know it can't be perfect, or I'm not prepared to make it perfect, I can't put it out. Do not allow your perfectionism to stop you from putting stuff out. We have to overcome the spirit of perfectionism. Like, I know in the Bible it talks about being perfect, how he is perfect. That's a different thing. As humans, we won't be perfect. And as a people pleaser, you have to accept the fact that it's not going to be perfect. Not everybody is going to be happy. Not everybody's going to like everything you say or do, but you can't diminish yourself to please others, because in the end, you become less of who you should be and more of who they want you to be. But you end up living a life less fulfilled because you're just doing it to make everybody else happy. I got to get these going. I'm looking at my time so I can make sure I get y'all out of here in enough minutos that you can live your own lives and do whatever. The next thing is low self-esteem. People pleasers may feel that their wants and needs don't matter. Man, I remember times where I knew I might have been right. I knew that the option that I put on the table was the best, but because I wanted to make sure that everybody else was okay, I took the back seat. Can't do this. Everybody has something that they're concerned about. There's something about you that you don't like, or that you are like, man, I hope nobody sees this. There's Everybody has an insecurity. Everybody has something that they're not as they don't esteem themselves highly enough. There's an area for everyone. But people pleasers often experience this. Emotional dependency. People pleasers may have a need for others, even if they don't need others to do anything. Sometimes people pleasers just need their presence of a person, even if they don't need you to do anything. Just need you to be present. Now, personally, I don't know that I've experienced this side. I can honestly say I became more detached emotionally because I felt like what I needed to do for people was a task, was an assignment, and I wasn't emotionally attached to it. So I became detached from people because I'm like, I know you just want something from you, so let me just get you that, and I'm gonna live in my own world. So, whatever your area of people pleasing is, you have to pursue yourself to be better. Like my previous episodes talked about being able to say no. It's not easy, but we can take some baby steps to make this happen. So here's some steps for the people pleasers that want to overcome, and I'm gonna fly through this one really quick. First is setting boundaries. Taking the time to know that you're important, that you're that if somebody chooses to leave because you choose to care about yourself, that's self care. And you just got to do what you got to do. Because when you break the habit of people pleasing, you get to a point where it's like, I'd rather set these boundaries so I can spend time taking care of me than spend time taking care of everybody else, knowing that the return isn't that high. If you walk away from me because I set a boundary, that's just one less person I have to worry about pleasing. So take your time to set a boundary, to say a no, to understand what you want out of the situation, and don't say yes when you need to say no. Which brings us to our second point. The next action step is practicing saying no. Find different ways to say no. Say it in the mirror. Hey, no, this is I can't do this right now. This is not going to be best for me. I'm not available to do that right now. Not even negotiating your no, Just being strong enough to say, if I say no and you walk away, you've helped me. If I say no and you never call again, you've helped me. If I say no and you never talk to me again, I've helped me. One less person that I know that just wants to be pleased that's out of the picture now because I chose to set a boundary and say no. The last three, for you that apologize, stop apologizing. Stop apologizing for setting the boundary and saying no. It's okay to prioritize yourself. If you never prioritize yourself, you will end up in an unhappy position, in an unhealthy position, in a disabled position. You will position yourself to where you've poured out so much that you have nothing else to pour out. So there's nothing to apologize about. Like, if you can't do it, you can't do it. Because at the end of the day, once you're gone, they're going to have to ask somebody else. We often say that sharing is caring, and I've had to teach people that sharing isn't caring. Caring is caring, sharing is sharing. And I don't have to share with you in order to care about you. I don't have to prioritize you to care about you, especially if it means that I'm not putting the mask on myself. The next one, ask for help. It can be healthy for you and those around you to ask for help instead of trying to do everything yourself. I'm not going to even dive into this one too far because people that know me know that, or people that know me closely know that I've been a person that if I got to take everything on my back and do it, I'm going to just do it. I'm not going to confront you about it. I'm not going to fight about it. I'm going to just get it done because at the end of the day, it needs to get done. And sometimes people pleasers, because they have a perfectionist mentality, sometimes don't ask for help because of the insecurity, the low self-esteem, the other things. There's things that bridge that make you not ask for help. In this season, I'm learning to ask for help because there's a lot of things that I'm capable of. Because when your superpower is helping people, you learn to do a lot of things. I've learned to do a lot of things, but I've learned that doing everything means that less will get done because I'm only one person and I'm trying to prioritize other people and please other people to where less gets done because when somebody needs something, because of what I want them to think about me, I'll put me aside and be like, yeah, I got you. Even though I ain't even got myself. That'll preach. The next one, recognize your choices. People pleasing can feel, like a negative cycle, but you can make choices to reflect your needs and feelings. Allow yourself to not just be an option. Choose you. Because if you don't choose you, you can continue to choose others and you would just be on the back burner. While everybody else is being successful from your helping and pleasing them, you will be exhausted, drained, and just tired and don't even have enough to give yourself. So you have to give to yourself and realize that they got to do for them too. It doesn't have to necessarily be harsh, but you do have to position yourself to win. And in order to win, you have to run the race. If you're running everybody else's race, when will you have time to run your race? So, the last point, set goals. Becoming a converted people pleaser or running away from people pleasing or healing from people pleasing won't happen overnight. So you have to set some goals. You have to say, well, I'm going to try to say no this week when I really mean no. Because a lot of people pleasers will say yes when they mean no. And then you end up with a life of yeses that mean no to you. You have to spend time with yourself. You have to spend time caring about you. And if you're anything like me at my age, I've had to look and reflect and be like, I don't even know what it means to spend time with me because I've been spending all of my time doing for other people to where my goals are on the back burner. Sometimes I didn't even have goals. I just had a goal of making it out, but making it out was not a smart or specific goal. So as we get ready to close up, people pleasing behavior can include avoiding conflict, conforming to harmful behaviors, disregarding self interest for the sake of others. It's self sacrificing. People pleasing can be damaging to your health. It can interfere with relationships and jobs. Some short term tactics that may include starting small, committing to meeting one goal at a time, one need at a time, and focusing on yourself will help. I can say for myself that not my regrets, but when I look back over my life, the things that scarred me the most were the moments that I couldn't please people. I couldn't be the hero. People pleasing people are not heroes. People pleasing people are self sabotagers at some point because you put yourself last. Don't keep putting yourself last. So take a moment to reflect on your own people pleasing tendencies. Start by setting a small boundary, start setting a small no, and remember that becoming a better you starts with becoming a better you, putting you first, getting rid of the things that say put everybody else first and think about others. Yeah, people pleasers think about others, but who's thinking about the people pleaser? So I want to thank you for joining me for this episode. I'm excited to share more stories, insights, and strategies with you. Together, we'll learn how to replay our wins and losses to build more winning seasons. Don't forget to subscribe, share with somebody who needs a little motivation or help, and let's continue this journey to becoming undefeated. Until next time, keep reflecting, keep winning. Peace.